Having a good understanding of fundamental analysis is very important in day trading, swing trading, and particularly investing. Today I'm going to talk about the top 5 things you should take into consideration every time you look at fundamentals. Hey everyone, lead trainer with StocksToTrade, Tim Bohen here. Be sure to subscribe and then ring that bell to be notified as soon as a new video hits. Would love for you to be notified each time we drop one of these in-depth breakdowns and analysis videos. So we're going to start out with number 1, sales. Okay, this is a simple thing, but it is so important. Remember, in low price stock land, many of these companies have 0 sales, $1,000 a quarter, $2,000 a quarter. Remember, in the world of trading, you're looking to buy the future prospects of a company. Now, doesn't mean these companies can't run, doesn't mean they can't move, but if you're looking to swing trade or invest, you want to find a stock that actually has some sales. Okay, you can't pay the employees, you can't pay the rent, you can't, pay your taxes if you have no sales. And the biggest thing that many of these low price stocks, they're so speculative, they don't even have a product or service you can buy. I mean, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. If you got nothing that I can buy, obviously there's no sales. So what you want to look at is actually make sure before you buy a stock, especially for days or weeks or month, just look at that sheet. I mean, right in StocksToTrade, we have it right at it's called the top line on a balance sheet is your sales. Look at that and really kind of take into consideration, this company's got $5,000 a quarter in sales. Do I want to overnight this stock? Do I want to swing trade this stock? So moving off of number 1, where I talk about the top line, now we're going to move to the bottom line. If you're familiar with the bottom line, that's your profit and loss statement, because if you've ever done a financial statement, which if you haven't, you should probably experiment with it and understand it, but you start out with your sales, you subtract all your expenses, and you end up with the bottom line, the P&L. So again, as we're breaking down the fundamental analysis of these companies, we want to see if there's any money left at the end of the day. And you're going to find a lot of these low price stocks, it's going to be a big negative number, even if the sales number is big. And like I say, these are all just guidelines. That doesn't mean you can't buy this stock, but it's one of those things where you got to ask yourself, do I want to day trade this stock based off a press release, based off price action, be in and out quickly, or do I want to swing or invest in this stock? And if there's a big, ugly red number at the bottom, you really want to consider, okay, maybe this is a day trade only, or maybe this is just a complete ignore for me. So focus on that P&L and be sure to really be cautious holding long-term money-losing companies, because there's a good chance they're going to do a stock offering, they're going to dilute, or, hey, at some point, the chickens come home to roost, as they say, and the company may just go bankrupt. If they're losing money quarter after quarter after quarter, they can't survive, your stock might go to 0. Third thing I want to talk about, and I touched on this in the first one, is, back to, is there anything you can actually buy? Is there a product? Is there a service? Is it something you would ever even consider buying? So this is where we talk about fundamentals. This is, this is the macro idea behind a trade. And, when we talk about technical analysis, you don't care what they make, you don't care what they are, you're only trading the chart. When we're taking into consideration fundamentals, we want to know, is there something I can buy? Can I go to their website? Can I buy it? Can I go to the store? Can I buy it? Can I go to their online app, give them a credit card, subscribe, and give them money? Now, biotech land, especially low-price biotech land, you're almost never going to see any sort of product or service, because these are, development stage companies. They're trying to come out with that first product. So now I'm doing that fundamental analysis. I'm looking for a swing trade. Maybe I'm under the pattern day trader rule, so I want to hold this stock overnight. I see, going back to number 1, no sales, money losing, and now they don't even have a product that I can buy or obtain by any means. Those are some red flags. Vice versa, if you see their product and you go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go wherever, and you see their product on the shelf and people are buying it, this is what's called a channel check. You'll see that a lot in real businesses. they'll send stock analysts, they'll send people to stores and see who's buying, the Tickle Me Elmo. Is Tickle Me Elmo flying off the shelf? That dates me. That's like 10 years old. But, they do a channel check and see if people are buying this product. That's something you want to potentially swing trade or invest in. Fourth one we're going to talk about when it comes to fundamentals is your price to earnings ratio. And basically, this is just breaking down, how much money are they making, what is the price of the stock, and how big is that ratio, okay? Now, in low price stock land, you're gonna see some pretty big ratios because these are speculative companies. So when they're trading, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times price to earnings, it's not necessarily a red flag, but it is something you want to take into consideration, especially if that number just gets, hundreds of times. And you'll see that in low price stock land where their earnings are this small and the stock price is this big. Actually, a great example right now as we record is BYND, Beyond Meat. Maybe the most, I think it might still be the most successful IPO of all time, but their price to earnings ratio is huge, but the stock continues to trend higher. So it's not an immediate red flag. It's simply telling you that mania is involved, okay? But that's not a bad thing in the stock market. One of the biggest ways to profit in trading is to locate these mania stocks when people don't care the price. And that's when you see these high price to earnings ratios, that's just people saying, just like at an auction, I don't care what it is, I want it. So that can actually be a good thing, but if the stock starts turning on you, you're in this trade, starts going against you, take into consideration. If it's got an amazing, huge price to earnings ratio, it may just be coming back to reality, and that's your trigger to sell. Last thing I always look at, and I joke that this is my caveman fundamental analysis, but I always look at, and actually the great thing about StocksToTrade is this is built right in. Pretty much anytime I enter a trade, and this may sound kind of funny, but we've got it built into StocksToTrade. I look at their location in Google Maps, and I look at their employee count, okay? And listen, recently, a stock just last year, it was a stock that pivoted from bulldozer rentals to blockchain to cannabis, and it was literally located in a house with like a bunch of toys out front in the yard. I mean, this was their corporate headquarters. Now, does that mean this stock's going to fail immediately? No, but is this a stock I want to swing trade or invest in? And then look at that employee count. If there's 1 employee, 2 employees, hey, I started a business 20 years ago. We started out with 2 employees, but we weren't a publicly traded company. We weren't bringing in a $20 million, $50 million, $100 million market cap. So those are the 2 things I look at, and it may sound counterintuitive, it may sound silly, but I always look at that corporate headquarters on Google Maps, and I look at the employee count, and if it's a sketchy looking office and there's 2 people in the business, I don't think I'll ever swing trade it or invest in it. Day trading is different, but take that into consideration. So, back to my favorite thing to do with my caveman fundamental analysis. Have you ever looked up a company on Google Maps and seen some ridiculous office? If so, let me know below. I've seen mailboxes, etc. I've seen apartments. I've seen one of my favorite was Magna Gas. They were in like a pole barn in the middle of a Florida swamp. I've seen a lot of funny stuff on Google Maps. So let me know if you've ever seen anything like that when you were looking to make a trade. Thanks for watching our video. Be sure to comment below with any trading related question. We love answering your questions. Also, like and share with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to be notified as soon as our next video hits. And if you're looking to expand your trading knowledge, don't forget to check out all of our other videos, and be sure to click the trial below. Check out StocksToTrade. I think it is one of the best, most rapidly advancing softwares out there. Be sure to check out our trial.